Hello, student. Good afternoon. Today, I want to talk about something related to our constitution because today is a constitutional day, and it's a constitutional day, so it's a very important day. Being a citizen of the largest democracy, we should proud of uh, on our constitution, and that serves the very purpose of democracy. Uh, so, exactly 70 years ago, the Constituent Assembly of India set for the first time on, I'm not sure, but December 9, 1946. On this day in 1949, the Constituent Assembly adopted our constitution. And I have just said, being a citizen of the world largest democracy. First of all, my warm greetings to all of you on National Constitutional Day or National Law Day. Uh, uh, First of all, sociologically, how we understand um, constitution. Uh, so, in sociological sense, constitution is a new organ of modern societies, right? In modern democracies, the constitution sanction a detailed bill of fundamental rights as well as some social rights. Uh, so, constitution is designed as a set of guarantee, some of which can be claimed as subjective titles before the court. So the Constitution also, recognizes a set of leading principles of social and economic policies, as well as constitutional goals to be achieved gradually, right? In the context of India, we can just think about our directive principle of state policy and its roles as far as the uh, uh, lawmaking of Indian society is concerned. Ours, India, is a democratic system, we know, and uh, uh, we do have a constitution as the ultimate guarantee of protection of constitutional rights, right? So the Constitution of India is to be understood as a set of principles which promises to all its citizens justice, which promises to all its citizens to social, economic, political justice, liberty of thought and expression, liberty of ideas, justice, freedom, beliefs, faith and worship, equality of status, and the opportunity and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual. Therefore, constitution of a country is the highest political document for its government, for its citizens, because it embodies the statement of rights of people as lawfully stabilized, right? And the beauty of constitution is that the Constitution of India, gives us the most powerful identity, that is the citizenship of the India, right? And the Constitution has always maintained a, a sense of national identity shared by 130 crores of Indians, despite all the diversity, despite differences uh, in terms of religion, in terms of culture, in terms of race, in terms of caste. Thanks to the remarkable philosophical vision of unity in diversity, diversity in unity, and our founding father, particularly Bhim Rao Ambedkar. So a constitution has been intended to users in a new, social and political order, full with the content of justice, full with the content of equality, liberty under the status of its citizens. India, Indian freedom struggle is a manifestation, I would say, and manifestation of misdeeds of the Britishers and the quest for justice of millions of Indians. The struggle of independence was not fought simply for national independence. The establishment of democracy in free India was an important aim. I would say the very important aim of freedom struggle. It was in view of this goal, that is the essence of Constitution of India, among all the goals of Indian freedom struggle, the establishment of democracy, the establishment of democracy through written constitution was important goal. MacIver, a social thinker, once said, democracy is a form of government that is never completely achieved. Democracy grows into its being. So it may take, I think, a long time before we say, now, India is a democracy in its real sense. Is anything left of democracy today? Democracy means freedom. Constitution guarantees actualization of democracy. Equality before rule of law. What is happening in India is that we can see the radicalization of right-wing politics, where the rule of law is violated. The voice of dissent is systematically killed. We know, criticism and discussion requires vigilance on the part of citizen, in the words of John Stuart Mill. Is the price of democracy. Or in other words, we can say India has a democracy lacking the spirit of democracy, right? We don't like criticism. We don't like differences in terms of a diversity of thought. We don't respect differences. And this is the very bad thing as far as the making of constitution, making of democracy is concerned. This approach is reflected everywhere, not in the organs of executive, but also organs of judiciary. Judiciary is no more an indicator of national political civilization. With the deep love of right-wing political ideology, judiciary has given its protective hand of people's right. We live in a time of majoritarian democracy, where constitution is amended for the undemocratic purpose. I'm not going to go into the detail of those, recent amendment, because it is a very controversial thing. But that reflect like we are ignoring the spirit of the preambles of the Constitution. We lack a sense of responsibility, particularly the side of majority, with reference to the social equality. We can see a dictatorship under the grave of democracy. And without social and economic equality, the sense of brotherhood, that is the sense of fraternity. And fraternity, the idea of fraternity, my understanding, I think that is a very important, idea. Much more important than that of the justice, right? So Indian democracy may become only a care structure of bureaucratic government without any life in it, if we ignore the very principle of the preamble of the Constitution. And we can see in political life, we are forgetting the teaching of Gandhi. We are forgetting the teaching of Tagore, who taught us a culture of tolerance, who taught us a culture of acceptance, right? And we can see the attack of minorities everywhere, be it women, be it a Muslim, be it Dalits. We lack compassion. That is the keynote in of the sense of fraternity to be fostered in Indian society. Politicization of religion post 90 led to the killing of compassion in the roots of religion, and without compassion there can be no religion. And Hinduism in principle teaches the philosophy of compassion, which is totally against the idea of Hindutva, right? But we are forgetting those ancestral cultural heritage under the hardcore nationalism, which is based on the fear, right? Constitutional morality. Let us, know about the constitutional morality. We have to be a citizens who loves the idea of tolerance, who is committed to the practice of non-violence, to secular values on which the foundation of modern India was laid, give to themselves the liberty, justice, equality, and the feelings of brotherhood that are enshrined in the preamble of the Constitution of India. Religion cannot be the criteria for deciding one's citizenship. But what is happening? We are lacking a sense of constitutionalism under the hatred of pseudo-nationalism. And if India, an Indian constitution, has to be a way of life, it has to free from the domination of majoritarian rule, which is doing nothing but the construction of the millions of the minorities. Whether we have to understand whether the democracy is actualized or not. In that context, we can see the idea of local self-government, which has become insignificant with the Americanization of Indian democracy. Centralization spells the death of democracy. Gandhian philosophy, taught us. But we are not bothering about the very essential fundamental question of the sustainable democracy, right? For it means the power and initiative are taken away from the people, centered at the center. The whole project of decentralization of democracy, initiative of 73rd or 74th Amendment, are unfulfilled. The actualization of Gandhian dream is unfulfilled. Besides this, the rise of one-party rule and insignificant opposition, these are the very dangerous symptoms for the development of the democracy. When we see the Constitution, I see the objective of Constitution seems to me incomplete. We can see the degradation of the idea of freedom from the communalism, freedom from the unjust system of capitalism, and besides this, the insignificant, land reform, powerlessness of a state in terms of privatization, de-socialization of, principal industries, the Gahna of India. With the process of disinvestment, we are losing. WTO effect on policies, right? Which fundamentally questioning the very idea of sovereignty in that context. The whole consequence of new liberal development, These are the important consideration as far as the impartial view of the development of the democracy and the Constitution of India is concerned. With the rise of media centric public opinion in terms of fake news and propaganda, which creates a culture of hate and fear, the narrow growth of cultural nationalism based on the fake communitarian belief is to be seen as the emergence of Indian state, which is based on the idea of uncommon citizenship. With the rise of the right, the greater challenge is to act even an intellectual class without being anti-national, right? So these are the important constitution, and I hope, being an optimist person, perhaps in not very distant future, Bhimrao Ambedkar dream may be fulfilled, right? We need to inculcate constitutional morality in terms of practice, in terms of thinking, right? And we have to change our approach. We have to replace my with ours. Then we can end capitalism and begin socialism in the context of individual, society, and state. And people of India should realize that the Constitution is not a holy book, but a functional manual of ruling the organic life of the modern time. Therefore, spread constitutional literacy, practice constitutional morality. The Indian Constitution enshrined in itself the positive aspect based on the experiences of people around the world. We have a very beautiful constitution. We have to preserve it. Now we have to fight for its safety, right? We have to fight for the unconstitutional development of the constitution democracy, right? In fact, the preamble remains the soul of the constitutions, right? With the utmost aim of safeguard of the rights of the people and ensure justice in all respect, right? So this is my concern, and the need of ours is a sustained combat against the prejudice of these particular identities through a process of dialogue aimed at establishment of more egalitarian society. In that context, we have to celebrate the differences of opinions. We have to continuously dialogue. We have to understand things very democratically, right? So now I would like to invite some questions, queries.